Clint Bowyer is in his third year with the Fox NASCAR broadcast team. He's paid to speak what's on his mind. Sometimes that includes calling out other drivers or even NASCAR, as he did earlier this year. Other times, however, the former Stewart-Haas Racing driver has the tables turned, and others are critical of him for things he says or does on and off the air. On Saturday at Darlington, it was the latter, as the 43-year-old unintentionally said an offensive slur during the practice qualifying broadcast and then immediately heard about it from Fox broadcast partner Mike Joy and guest analyst Kyle Petty. Since retiring and moving up to the Fox NASCAR broadcast booth in 2021, Clint Bowyer has served as a race analyst for the broadcast, but he's also stepped in and played a certain role, which some might consider the class clown with his on-air joking and sometimes off-the-wall remarks. In that same capacity, he also is the butt of certain jokes and regularly gets embarrassed during the broadcast. The perfect example of such a situation occurred earlier this year at The Clash, when singer Gwen Stefani joined the broadcast.
Yes. What do you think about this thing? It's pretty cool being here. You grew up here in L.A. in this area.
I did, and I honestly was very ignorant to this whole sport until I met this genius over here, Clint Bowyer. And it is exciting and it's scary. And I wondered how you guys did this up there. You're up here and you're just hanging out, talking and observing and just hanging out like friends.
Well, I think we're caught off guard because that's two things that we've never heard in the same sentence, and that's Clint Bowyer and genius.
Oh.
On Saturday at Darlington, Bowyer and boothmate Joy were joined by another former driver known for his sometimes inflammatory comments and getting blasted for them, NBC broadcaster Kyle Petty. He is working the first stage of the Sunday Cup Series race with Fox as a guest analyst with his father. During the Cup practice and qualifying session, all three of the gentlemen offered their thoughts on the various throwback schemes and the memories evoked with specific themes. When the cameras focused on the number 54 car of Ty Gibbs during his practice run, which was a throwback to Bobby Labonte and the Joe Gibbs racing car that featured the colors of the Washington team his grandfather coached to 3 Super Bowl titles and was sponsored by the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Clint Bowyer shared his feelings on the car.
Saturdays, man. So much fun to watch out on Saturdays. I like this one a lot. Meaningful. Throwing back to Grandpa's Redskin days as a coach.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Bobby Labonte ran this scheme for Joe Gibbs.
Commanders.
Oh, yeah, you can't say Redskins
you can't
anymore.
Say that.
Nope.
What
That's
was
right.
then?
Yeah.
That likely should have been the end of the conversation on the topic. Bowyer said the slur, immediately recognized it, and corrected it before Joy and Petty uncomfortably addressed the blunder. But it wasn't. Instead, things stayed awkward as Petty stumbled over himself for a few seconds before the 73-year-old veteran announcer made a surprising comment of his own on the subject.
Yeah. There's a 7-second delay. That guy, you can say whatever you want to. I think what's $6 billion? Are they selling it for? That's the offer on the table?
Wonder if the new owner will change the name again. I vote yes.
The changing of the Washington football team name has been a long, arduous process, and it only came after years of various groups expressing concerns about its offensive nature. The name was finally changed to Washington Commanders before the 2022 season. Bowyer's use of the word, while offensive, is understandable. It was an honest mistake, and the conversation, as mentioned, should have ended with his self-correction. But it didn't, as Petty made an even bigger mess of the situation with his word salad, followed by Joy throwing in his 2 cents. It was an unfortunate sequence of events, and one that Bowyer will hopefully learn from and not repeat in the future. But again, it is Bowyer, and there's no telling what might come out of his mouth each race broadcast.